In terms of the economy, we expect to see stronger performance in 2022. We are projecting at least 8% growth and hoping that we could even do double digit. And the reason we think we can do double digit, I said last week that the government is now shopping for a loan of about 200 million US dollars on the basis that we're successful in raising that money. Then we can commit some of it towards some capital projects, including possibly 2 hotels. I just spoke about us sinking some money into Jolly Beach to redevelop a part of that property. The Callaway Cay project as well, we may just take over that completely and forget about our partners in that project. And by so doing, we'll be able to increase the room count to put more people to work, and at the same time to create some construction jobs as well. I know PLH, for example, they have indicated that they have about 500 full-time employees, and they're about to take on another 250 this year. So they're going to scale up easily to 750. And this does include people who provide indirect services to the project, those who provide transportation, even things like catering and so on. So when you look at the total direct and indirect employment at PLH, that'll be over 1,000. Now, outside of that, the intention of the government is to at least create a couple thousand jobs within the next few months in order to put literally everybody back to work. In fact, we have suspect that with the buoyancy in construction, that we may have a shortage of construction workers. And let me emphasize here, skilled workers. Skilled construction workers, and even in terms of laborers, we may even have to ask some females who are displaced, for example, to join the workforce as laborers in order to avoid bringing in new people into the country. And I know there's some who are saying that we're suggesting that there's going to be a shortage in order to bring in new people to vote. But the reality is our laws are that if you're not a citizen, you have to be resident for at least 7 years to be eligible to vote. So those who use that as an argument, obviously are just being mischievous, because someone who comes here to live and work would not be eligible to vote in the next general elections, or the following one for that matter. They will have to at least be here consistently for 7 years unbroken in order to become eligible to vote. But this is the type of mischief that we have to deal with from time to time. Now, we are pretty confident, and even if you look back at previous performance, even on the UPP, with a few $1 million dumped into the country's economy, that could result in a significant amount of growth. If we assume that back in 2007, 2008, when the economy grew by about 13%, and I think it was a record, it was as a result of the investments that took place, the capital investments leading up to Cricket World Cup. And even though I do accept that it was really fueled by an exogenous event, and not an endogenous event, the reality is there was significant growth in that year, even though the following year they moved from about 12-13% down to 1%. So it showed that it was not a sustainable growth. But what we can deduce from that was that the money spent during that period, assuming it was about maybe 400-500 million EC dollars, that it resulted in that level of growth. And the economy was smaller then, so at that time the economy was probably about 2.2 million EC. So to grow an economy at 12% at that size, is far easier than growing it at 4-point-something billion now. But notwithstanding, we think that with about $500 million EC invested in capital projects by the government, plus all of the other private sector projects that are taking place, to include PLH that I just spoke about, we believe that we can do double digits, and that is why we're projecting conservatively 8%.